The chaos of the new FIA rules for 2026. Impact on Ferrari and Mercedes. Subscribe to continue uploading more of this type of content now, if we continue. Formula One in 2026 is on the verge of a radical transformation, and the arrival of the new rules imposed by the FIA has shaken the foundations of the most powerful teams. To understand the magnitude of the changes, it is necessary to understand how the new regulations are reconfiguring the technical pillars of competition. One of the most disruptive aspects of the new rules is the introduction of active aerodynamics, a technology that will allow teams to adjust the downforce of the cars during the race using moving spoilers. This means that the cars will be able to modify their aerodynamic profile dynamically, adapting to track conditions and racing situations. In theory, this should improve performance, especially in high-speed corners, and allow for greater overtaking potential. However, in the first tests in Abu Dhabi, the situation was completely different. The teams were forced to test their vehicles with what are known as mule cars, modified chassis that simulate the behavior of the cars of 2026 without having all the active systems functional. This simulation revealed an aerodynamic imbalance that had not been anticipated, leading the FIA to impose a speed limit of 300 kilometers per hour. Without active aerodynamics fully operational, cars with fixed spoilers generated erratic behavior on the straights, increasing instability and the risk of accidents. This technical glitch is just the beginning of chaos that threatens to affect the largest teams. Mercedes, Ferrari, and other leading teams are forced to review their concepts and development strategies, something that, in such a competitive category, has immediate repercussions on the results of the coming seasons. In addition to the aerodynamic challenges, the new regulations include the mandatory use of synthetic fuels for single-seater engines, a step towards sustainability that has frayed engineers' nerves. Ferrari, traditionally associated with Shell, is struggling to meet the standards required for these ecological fuels. Meanwhile, competitors such as Mercedes, in collaboration with Petronas, and Aston Martin, with its partner Aramco, appear to be further along in the development of these fuels, which could translate into a decisive advantage when the 2026 engines come into play. Fuel efficiency will now be a crucial factor, as it not only influences performance, but also the durability of the engines, crucial for long racing stints. In this sense, Ferrari faces tough competition to catch up. With the 50-50 split between the combustion engine and the electrical system, these changes in fuels are not only technically challenging, but can also have a dramatic impact on the team's competitiveness. A less efficient engine could mean loss of power, lower straight-line speeds, and greater wear and tear on long runs. Therefore, the effort to develop a suitable synthetic fuel becomes a parallel battlefield to that of aerodynamic engineering, and the teams that manage to balance both technologies effectively will have a substantial advantage. The news is especially worrying for Ferrari, which, after a troubled 2025, sees how engine development errors and a lack of progress in sustainable fuels could put them even further behind. Despite the arrival of a talent like Hamilton, who will contribute his experience, the Italian team knows that it needs an internal revolution to recover lost ground. Aerodynamic improvements and fuel development are taking place in parallel, but there are no guarantees that they will be able to catch up to their rivals in such a short time. Technical uncertainty turns into logistical chaos for teams who must not only adapt to these changes, but also solve unforeseen problems along the way. The pressure increases, and although the 2026 season is still far away, today's problems can define the future of the largest teams in Formula One. In this transformation scenario, only the most agile teams with the appropriate resources and the brightest minds will be able to navigate this whirlwind of changes and emerge successfully in the new era that is coming. Ferrari's situation at the end of 2025 is that of a team caught between the frustration of not having achieved its objectives and the urgent need for reinvention. Despite having one of the most talented and successful drivers in Formula One history, Lewis Hamilton, the Scuderia has been unable to offer him the competitive car that allows him to fight for consistent victories. They finished the season in 4th position in the Constructors' Championship with a total of 398 points, far behind the season's dominators McLaren, who obtained 833 points. This result reflects a season full of ups and downs and a clear lack of technical stability. Now, looking ahead to 2026, Ferrari is at a crossroads. The new FIA rules, which include significant changes to aerodynamics and synthetic fuel, could be an opportunity for a total reinvention. However, time is of the essence. While the addition of Hamilton can bring valuable experience and perspective to the team, the reality is that Ferrari will need more than a world-class driver to fix the fundamental problems with its car and strategy. The redesign of the engine, the adaptation to synthetic fuels, and the optimization of aerodynamics are the immediate challenges, and the team knows that it cannot afford more development failures like those that marked 2025. Ferrari's big challenge for 2026 will be to balance its focus on sustainability with pure performance. Synthetic fuel, as we have seen in other teams, could become a crucial battlefield to gain dozens of horsepower. However, the process to reach a 100% efficient fuel remains a considerable technical challenge, especially for its historical partner, Shell, which is still behind others such as Aramco or Petronas in the development of these fuels. In this sense, Ferrari must not only improve its engine and aerodynamics, but also find a way to maximize the efficiency of the fuels it will use for the cars of 2026, an area in which competitors such as Mercedes already have an advantage. Regarding strategy, Ferrari must carry out a deep internal review. The erratic decisions that affected his performance in 2025, such as pit strategy issues and poor decisions on car upgrades, cannot be repeated. Vasseur is in a difficult position as he has to ensure that the team not only implements a more competitive car, but also refines its strategy and ability to manage the entire season. Ferrari's future depends on its ability to adapt to this new era of Formula One. Entry into a new cycle with modified rules for 2026 could be its opportunity to hit the table, but this will only be possible if they manage to overcome the technological barriers that today keep them in the shadow of teams like McLaren and Mercedes. However, hope is not lost. With Hamilton's leadership and a renewed team, Ferrari has the resources necessary to return to the championship fight, but the road to success will be long and full of challenges. Mercedes, one of the most successful teams in recent Formula One history, faces a complicated situation heading into the 2026 season. Although it has not been the dominant leader of the grid in recent years, the German team remains one of the strongest and best structured forces in the paddock. However, the 2025 season, which ended with Mercedes in second position in the Constructors' Championship, made it clear that, although the team has a competitive car, it still has a lot of work to do to once again be a constant threat against rivals such as McLaren and Red Bull. One of Mercedes' strengths in recent years has been its ability to quickly adapt to new regulations and maximize the performance of its power unit. The W15, the car of 2025, proved to be solid, but not fast enough to beat McLaren, which, with its MCL39, stood out as the most competitive car of the season. Despite Mercedes' good performance base, it became clear that the team still needs to improve key aspects to keep up with the advances of its rivals. This technical disadvantage was especially evident on high downforce circuits and in difficult conditions, such as those encountered in some Grand Prix, where Mercedes failed to capitalize on its opportunities. However, Mercedes is not a team that sits idly by. Instead of making radical changes like other teams, Mercedes has opted for a more cautious and meticulous strategy. Throughout the 2025 season, the team focused on refining its power unit and optimizing its aerodynamic settings to improve its performance on a wide range of circuits. While other teams rushed to make significant changes to their cars, Mercedes maintained its focus on incremental evolution, confident that its small adjustments would continue to make a difference in the long term. With the new FIA regulations for 2026, Mercedes has an opportunity to take a step forward. Changes in active aerodynamics and the use of synthetic fuels represent an opportunity for Mercedes, with its strong infrastructure and ability to adapt to new technologies to find a competitive advantage. Fuel efficiency will be one of the keys to car performance in 2026, and Mercedes, with its alliance with Petronas, is well positioned to take advantage of this new era of sustainable fuels. However, this will only happen if the team is able to develop an engine that maximizes both performance and efficiency in this new era of Formula One. Subscribe to continue uploading more of that content. Now you really think about all this.